Chase the almighty dollar. Get as much as you can possibly get as quickly as you can. Acquire as many material possessions as toys as you can. Live it up, because that's what's important. Now, I'm not your mother, and if you want to believe that garbage, knock yourself out. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't work. I had everything the world said was important, and I had nothing. As I've said, I can remember standing in the doorway of that beautiful new home overlooking the golf course with everything that money could buy and crying like a baby because my life was so empty and there was no meaning. The inevitable result of rebellion from God and His way is desolation and destruction and death. And then fourth thing, finally, very quickly, I want you to know the ultimate vindication of Christ. Verse 35b and c. I tell you, you will not see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. There was a merchant who owned a general store in a very small town, and he ordered some merchandise for his store from this big city catalog company. When he received the merchandise, it was damaged. And he refused to send payment or to even send the damaged goods back until he got new merchandise in replacement. Now, the big city catalog company, they got ticked when the store owner wouldn't pay for the goods or wouldn't return them. And so they sent a letter to the postmaster of this small town, asking the postmaster to give the letter to the best lawyer in town so they could prosecute the man who wasn't paying his bill. And then the big city company got a letter back, and this is what the letter said. I received your letter, and since I am the postmaster, I delivered the letter to myself. And since I'm also the only lawyer in town, I'm taking your case. But since I'm also the store owner who bought the damaged goods in the first place, I will not bring suit against myself. And if I were not the only Baptist preacher in town, I would tell you where to go. Let me tell you something, folks. The only game in town is Jesus. The only game in town is Jesus. And He's coming back. They spit upon Him the first time. They still spit upon His followers today. They made fun of Him the first time. They still make fun of His followers today. They drove nails into His hands and feet the first time, and they're still killing His followers today. But ladies and gentlemen, He's coming back. And He's going to clean up the mess. And this time when He returns, it's going to be with power. And you'd better believe no one will ever spit on Him or laugh at Him again. No matter what the pagans say, history is not secular. History is moving in God's direction. And someday the history books are going to be slammed shut when Jesus returns. There was a professor at a college down in Florida where, as a part of their curriculum, they had a collegiate circus. And they taught students to perform in the circus. Well, this English professor had been to the circus the night before, and the next day in class he complimented one of the students who had performed on the trapeze. The student thanked him and then said, Professor, why don't you come down? Why don't you come down after class and give it a try? We've got a net in case you'd fall. And the professor said, no, I couldn't do that. I don't have any business up there on that trapeze. But all the other students agreed and they egged him on. And he got so embarrassed he decided, well, I'll give it a try. And he climbed up that little ladder for what seemed like an eternity. He made it up to that little platform on the top, and then he looked down, and everyone and everything looked so small. He was scared to death. He was nervous. His knees were knocking. His hands were sweaty. But he was determined to give it a try. And so he grabbed the trapeze, scared to death, and he swung out into the middle. And then he crossed over to the other trapeze, and then back to the platform. Being a teacher, later, when he came down, he said he'd learned 3 things. He said, first, I learned that you can't grab a hold of one bar until you let go of the other. And secondly, I learned that it's very hard to give up your security. And then he said, thirdly, I learned that you don't have all day to decide. Those 3 things can be applied to everything I've taught you this morning. The Apostle Paul said, you have to let go of the old life before you can grab hold of the new. And then he said, it'll be hard, very hard, to give up the security of the only life you've ever known. But thirdly, you need to remember, you don't have all day to decide. Let me finish with this. Romans 12:15 is a verse that says this. Rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. Psalm 30 verse 5 says, weeping may remain for a night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. I stood up here on July 4th and said that there was a white elephant in the room. We addressed that white elephant that morning, and out of that morning came an overwhelming response from you guys as our church family. An overwhelming response of unconditional love and acceptance and encouragement and support, prayer. You were there, standing side by side with us in our tears. And now I want you to stand side by side with us in our rejoicing. Stephen, would you come up here? This is our son, Stephen. We were able to bring him home on Monday. And I can't thank you enough for the prayers that you offered up. There were people praying for him that we didn't even know. We got cards and letters from people in Georgia who were on a CD ministry from this church, and those CDs get passed on and on and on. And we got cards and letters from people we didn't even know. Got one on Monday, a phone call saying, we know what's going on today and we're just praying for you. Just wanted you to know. Last Saturday night, I read the prodigal son in Luke 15 over again, and it said when the son came home, they killed the fatted calf and they had a feast and they celebrated. And when his mother asked him what he wanted to eat when he got home, Stephen said, I want some of your chili. So we killed the fatted calf, made hamburger, put it in chili. I want you to know, I love you, and I love you. And I thank you very, very much for your love and support during a very, very difficult time in our lives. Mom, can you come up here? Let me close with prayer. Father, I thank you for being a prayer answering God. I thank you for being a concerned God, that when we're down, you're there. And when our tears strike the ground, they mingle with your tears because you're there with us in the hurt and in the pain. I thank you that we don't have to hide that at Seymour Christian Church, and I thank you for these wonderful people that ministered to us for 5 months now. I thank you that we kept our eyes fixed and focused on you, and I thank you that the other night I was uplifted with faith because I thought, if God can change Bill Lockman, that he can change my son. And it was so wonderful when you brought him home. It's been so great this week. I know Thanksgiving was last week, but I just want to offer up a heart full of thanks to you for who you are and what you do and how concerned you are, and you don't even need to be. And then for this church family to love us so unconditionally and not judge us but be there for us, it's just absolutely incredible, and what a church should be. So we thank you and we praise you and we rejoice in the Son coming home. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.